IVM.
Yes, we'd like to thank Intel for supporting our show. Thank you. This week I want to talk about the benefit of manageability of the Wipro platform, because manageability is my thing. Manageability in the Intel Wipro refers to the active management technology, or AMT. AMT allows you to discover, repair and manage computing assets. This means features like take it down, remote power on, set wake up times and schedule updates, see your infrastructure remotely even when it's down, and of course recover faulty systems without sending a tech. I will repeat all of them really fast. Saying a tech. So no need to sit around all day waiting for a tech guy to show up. Manageability with Intel Wipro allows you to make the most of your time and resources, making managing your IT infrastructure both powerful and efficient. You can learn more about how to manage your IT at intel.in/Wipro. Kripaya dhyan dijiye, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
All right, on Cyrus Says, I'm looking for a job. I've got to change my career path. I think it's time for me to join Intel. Prakash Mallya, head honcho. He and me will chat this up.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
Okay, too much has been spoken of Children's Day, and I've decided the real day is the day before Children's Day. I want to give 13th November a new flavor, and I'm going to call it Should We Have Children's Day? As in not have Children's Day the day, but should we have children at all? Because as you go into this 2019 sort of period, you have to understand that there's just far too many people on Mother Earth. And I'm just thinking, maybe we have to take 13th off to think about whether we want to procreate or not. So let's have 13th as should we have children in the first place day. And then if you want, 14th can be celebrated Chacha Nehru's stroke Children's Day. It's called Cyrus Says. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for India's most awesome cricket podcast? Are you now tired of listening to the same old guys drone on about cricket everywhere? Edges and Sledges is a weekly cricket podcast hosted by three fans of the game, Varun, DJ, and myself, Ashwin. It was established in early 2018, has over 60 episodes now, and is of course now proud to be on the IVM podcast network. Each week, we get together from three different time zones, the USA, the UK, and Singapore, and we talk about things from the world of cricket, with a focus on Indian cricket. We often interview special guests from all around the world, including former cricketers and cricket media personalities. So check out Edges and Sledges, the cricket podcast, now on the IVM network.
All right, my guest is Prakash Mallya, and of course I have to ask him about both the names, controversy behind them. We'll come to that in a second. But he is the managing director for Intel India Sales and Marketing Group, which means his equity is something like 85% of this giant behemoth of a company. And we're going to discuss all things digital, which is my favorite subject. I'm actually completely challenged.
I know.
I'm so bad I can't tell you. I have no interest in anything. I can't even put a switch on. I'm that bad. I'll tell you a story as we go along, Prakash. But welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and thank you for coming here. And first, how much are you worth? I think that would be the first question. That's what everybody wants to hear. Podcasts are all about greed. Everybody's listening. Prakash Mallya, kitna bolo, kitna. But you get this a lot, Mallya surname?
I do.
Yeah?
I remember because we love traveling. So every time you go past immigration, I would be asked that.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Or coming back in.
Oh God, what if they mistook you for Siddharth Mallya, the son, the actor?
I honestly don't know, but there were questions for sure.
Yeah? Like what did they ask you?
Are you related? As recently, this happened even 2 weeks back when I was taking a domestic flight. Yes.
What business of theirs? How can they say, are you related? I mean, that's not right. How can they say that?
It is also testament to Vijay Mallya making India famous.
Really, in a way, yeah. That's true. And the thing that all the employees in the airport know exactly who he is. There's no question about that.
That is true.
MS Dhoni or Virat Kohli pass by and be like, theek hai. Vijay Mallya, wo to kuch hai. Yeah. So Prakash, our podcast is, as you know, we celebrate absolutely nothing. We have no structure. We're a bit like the Maharashtra government at the moment. We don't know whether we're coming or going. But luckily, you've got a nice body of work. You've got this corporate background. But I thought we'll come back to that in a bit. And we'll first start with the man, Prakash Mallya. And I've got so much research here, which if I had glasses, I could read to you. So apparently you went to school and college. So you were a Lucknow boy first. Let's start.
Yes, my parents are Konkanis.
Wow.
So they hail
hence
from
Mallya's surname.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
So they hail from Cochin, but my dad was in railways, so I grew up in Lucknow. So
This is the India story we have to put
Yeah.
out there, I mean, Konkani background, grew up in Kochi, lived in Lucknow and made his money in the south actually, then Mumbai. Is it correct
not
to
made,
say?
making.
Making money for the big man, yeah, in a sense. Yeah.
Then I went down south, REC Trichy, for my education, but Lucknow was a fascinating run. I still have friends
So
connected with me.
do you speak Hindi like a UPite?
I used to, but after
Ab to hua
that,
kya?
when I shifted to Bombay, it really
But thoda sa Hindi mein
messed
boliye,
up.
sir.
Shukriya.
Now you sound like me. You're like, I just came back from Japan, so you pick up a couple of words and that's it. Yeah. Arigato, which is Japanese for thank you. I'm sure you travel more than me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put everything in perspective. So you were born where?
I was born in Lucknow.
You were born in Lucknow.
Yes.
So you're a hardcore Lucknow boy. Then,
Yeah.
all said and done.
Yeah.
Like Vinod Mehta's biography, Lucknow boy.
Yeah.
Studied there.
Studied there right up to 12th standard.
And what was
And-
dad's background?
Dad was in railways, so
Okay, right, you said.
he started there. You have a RDSO is the research division of railways. It is located only in Lucknow, so that's where he was
For
based.
Pan India.
For Pan India.
Wow.
So hence we did not have transfers. So that's a good or a bad thing.
Yeah.
But we did not shift outside of Lucknow.
So what was the early life like? Is that like a clique with these IAS type officers, or I don't know what is the kind of subculture?
You used to live in a colony, RDSO colony, what it is called. From there, I have so many friends. Many of them I'm still connected with, courtesy Facebook as well as industry contacts, all of that. So it's great connection that you.
So Intel has played a
take.
part, in a
For
sense.
sure,
Yeah,
for sure. So you connect with them through your life. And then the other memory I have of Lucknow, though I was a vegetarian at that time, is food. Amazing food. The best chaat you can find is in Lucknow.
Yes.
Nobody else can beat that. No city, whoever thinks that they have better chaat, you have to get to Lucknow and eat that first.
In fact, I think Lucknowites pride themselves in being the origins of lots of food.
Yeah.
The biryani, which is more like a pulao, if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah.
Very interesting Lucknow story.
Yeah.
And every Nawab there claims to have invented it. Or
That is true.
Yeah.
And then you got like the kulfi. It is my namesake. There is Prakash kulfi there, which is
But why
very
would you call
good.
a kulfi Prakash? Prakash is light.
I have no idea.
I mean, why would you call a kulfi light? Well, as in light, as in maybe double meaning to it.
Yeah.
So is that from the road?
They have a shop as well, but majority of the chart was on the road.
So growing
And
up, you have
it's just-
memories of all that.
Yeah. Food is and friendships are the memory.
Would you now, Prakash Mallya, you're this big guy in corporate world and all that, would you still go on the road and eat all this food and try the kulfi?
Absolutely. Most recently, we did
Mera naam ka ice cream de do, bhaiya.
We didn't do that in Lucknow yet because we have not gone back in a long time. But we did that very recently in Varanasi. So we went late last year. We had gone for a trip to Varanasi. And unfortunately, we did roadside food quite a bit. We are both of us, my wife and I, are quite adventurous. So we did a lot of food.
Why, unfortunately?
We fell sick.
And now on this podcast, kripaya dhyan dijiye, we cannot mention what happens afterwards because it's slightly unhealthy. Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's typical, I think, with urbanization, with our stomach and our digestive power sort of go down.
That's true.
It's the price you pay for getting better in life, in a sense.
That's true. But I haven't stopped. I came to this studio from Calcutta. So I landed in Bombay and straight from Calcutta. In Calcutta also we did roadside food last night.
And they've got all kinds, na?
All
the rolls,
kinds.
I love those rolls.
Yeah.
Oh, fabulous.
That is exactly what we did.
There you go.
Nizam's rolls. That's
See,
what we did.
India can be connected only by all this food from different
Yeah.
places, the same experience.
Food is, any part of the
Nizam's
world,
rolls, yeah.
food is a great connection. Great
Also
connection.
like the Chinese area in Calcutta. What is it called? Tangra? Yeah, Tangra it's called. Fabulous.
No, I've not been there.
You have to, sir. You have to. With
Yeah.
the power that you have in the corporate world, you can just take over all these places. I have to stand in line. All right, let's talk about what you were like in school and college. So school also fully Lucknow, is it?
Yeah, up to 12th standard I was in Lucknow and then went to for my engineering to REC Trichy. So that was the time when I quit Lucknow.
So it's a very typical 80s, 90s sort of story.
Yes.
Engineering or MBA, if
Yes.
I'm not mistaken, were the two big ones.
Yeah, engineering or being a doctor.
Yeah.
And then the next step would be
Oh, and
MBA.
we forgot IIT also.
Yeah.
If you could.
Yeah.
Yeah. College was?
College was REC Trichy. Now it's called NIT Trichy.
Why did you go to Trichy from Lucknow, but why not come to
You
Mumbai, Delhi?
take both IIT and exams related to REC. So REC had a combined exam too. Mm-hmm. So I didn't make IIT list. So I got through. REC Trichy is...
Brocha to research properly and not ask awkward question of why.
No, sir. Not at all. Not at all. So I did REC because of the common entrance exam, and REC Trichy was a very good college at that time and still is.
And then obviously, so you go away from home and you live on your own, so that's the formative years, so to speak.
That is the best part of my life. Staying in a hostel with pals.
Hey, Prakash, you know what you're saying now? That's just pre-marriage. There's also, you can read between the lines, yeah.
Actually, the 25-year celebration we had of REC Trichy last year, we had a bunch of friends come over there. My wife also joined me, and we had a blast. So those friendships are something.
Really?
And some are from Lucknow as well.
Was it a hostel culture?
It was hostel.
Yeah.
It was hostel. So it was hostel split by year. So year one had a common hostel. And then you broke based on the year. The first year will have two separate hostels. Second year would be two separate hostels.
But common hostel means males and boys and girls together?
No. Boys together, but all of the entire batch would be in one hostel. So the food quality was not that great.
Yeah.
First year.
And it becomes you're almost like politics then, because you're one village and everybody's staying in the same
that's
place.
True. Yeah. That's true. So after that, the food gets better.
So what were you like in college? I mean, we're going to talk quickly about the second half of your career.
I was not studious, if that's what you're asking.
I am asking because people listen to the podcast when they say, okay, this is the guy who heads Intel in India, and then you see the background, he's one of us. It will inspire maybe 9 people who would have failed in life to do better.
I would say I tried hard, but I was definitely not studious. We used to take a lot of break. We used to go watch a lot of movies, get together.
So nothing has changed, except now we have Netflix. But the quality of life is the same. Yeah.
Get together with friends and go out and have some good food, which we tried even after we went back. After
the same places there?
Years. Many of the places are still
there. Would they remember you? Were there people who...
No, not really. But I would say I was not very studious, but I would think that the last 1 week or few days before the exam, you would really...
This is a very typical...
It's not cramming. Yeah, sometimes it could be, but other times it could be just pay attention.
No, but I had this argument, Prakash, with foreigners actually when I was in New York, and tried to explain to them our culture of studying. That with males, and I might be wrong, but with males, and it's almost, it's a gender thing, that we always study last minute. I just noticed this growing up, not just me, but all the males around me. You get the notes later. You get the Xeroxing. In my time, you had to Xerox and all that, so all that nonsense had to happen. You had to find some girl who was studious or, one guy who was a nerd or whatever. And then we do everything last. And a lot of the guys, now when I look back at my colleagues and all, the ones who have done well in corporates and startups, this and the other, many of them were just not interested in studies in that sense. And they all did it last minute.
Yeah.
And some of the guys who really... by the book, morning to night, didn't actually necessarily, there's no correlations, what I'm saying, without putting anyone down to success and not success.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, what you said, I can draw a lot of parallels on how I ran through college.
There you go.
It turns out how it turns out.
I see when we're discussing this, your first memories are about food, about the guys in the hostel, about this kind of thing. Nobody actually thinks of the studies.
That is true.
This is also a bit of an irony.
That is true.
Yeah.
But... going back to your point about IIT or REC, when I didn't get through IIT, this is a story.
Were you disappointed?
Yeah, I was extremely disappointed. So just all hell broke loose and heavens will fall if I didn't get through IIT because we tried.
So mom and dad were also upset?
Mom and dad were upset. Your friends were upset as well. So all of that happens, but then looking back, you see it's not much of a difference. If you really work hard after you get out of the college, whichever college you come out of, and then you try your level best, you can actually get to where you want to be.
Yeah. So the cliche, of course, is from failure leads to success, but this is not exactly failure. In the Indian context, you can't explain it to people.
It's perceived failure.
It's perceived. It's internally. It's by yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What the hell? IIT. How many people can get in a year? It's a ridiculously low number.
Ridiculously low number.
Better chance of winning South Bombay political seat and then not forming a government. What's going on, Maharashtra? Tell us. Okay, so that's the early part of your career. At that point, as you're getting your engineering degree, did you have any idea what to do with your life beyond the fact that you'll become an engineer and get into a company?
Yeah, the reason why I got into engineering was also not choices made by me. I mean, there were only, frankly, two
left
choices, either doctor or engineering. So that was a choice I made.
Why not doctor?
I would never
It's never too late. Dr. Prakash Mallya. It's Dr. Vijay Mallya, by the way. Hey, man, we already have a Dr. Mallya. You're out. Thank God you made the choice.
I didn't see it coming. Yeah. But frankly, after you get out of engineering, I got into Wipro. Wipro was a day one campus company. So it was.
What does that mean? They come and select.
Yeah, you come and you interview.
Does Mr. Premji himself come? How does it?
Mr. Premji didn't come at that time, but very senior people who I'm in touch with even now showed up. K.S. Vishwanathan is one of them. So they interview and then you get in, and that was a great experience.
And you got in immediately?
Yeah. I got recruited by Wipro. And then from Wipro back, the reason why I continued with technology is very interesting. So I did a couple of years in Wipro, then did my B school and came back into the industry and joined a car finance company.
Where was B school?
B school was BIM Trichy.
Okay.
Right. And then when I joined the car finance company, it was a joint venture between GE Capital and Countrywide, HDFC. Countrywide was the name of the company.
I bank with them.
Yeah.
Well, why give them a plug?
So at that time, I realized after a year in car finance that nothing changes in 1 year. You're selling the same car finance products day in, day out. So I went back to technology.
May I just interrupt? Last 1 year has been terrible for the car industry. Things have changed but in the wrong direction.
Yeah, that is true. At that time, market was growing because car finance had just come in.
But I get your point. You're selling the same thing to the same type of customer in the same way.
Yeah, but technology is so much. In the 19 years I've been with Intel, from Wipro I moved to Intel. 19 years I've been with the company. It has just been fascinating how every few years market really unfolds in several different ways. So that's the thrill of staying in tech.
So you used to stay in touch, almost like refresher courses also because things change and you have to change with it.
Yeah.
But I prefer the other job,
Why?
The sarkari naukri, where I can just sell the same thing. It gives you 25 on the liter. You just say the same 5 things.
But you're being very modest. Yeah. Your show, the political show, what was it? The week that wasn't, has run 12 years.
13,
How many?
13. More than 2 governments. I'm not talking Maharashtra.
So you wouldn't do that without redefining yourself. So it's a great testament to what both of you do.
Yeah. Abbazi means you, huh?
Kunal as well,
Yeah, Kunal. Prakash, before we go into the break, so let's now... I want to skip the story. So you're at Wipro.
Yes.
And you're happy at Wipro? It's your learning experience?
Yeah, it was fantastic learning experience.
Did you have a interface with the big man himself and all that?
Yeah, he actually did the orientation himself for all the trainees joining. And we had just less than a month of training. It was, we were all huddled up in a hotel and we had courses.
This sounds like MP, members of parliament on the run. Yeah.
It was very
but
good.
But is he as unassuming as, this legend of him that we hear?
Absolutely.
About him being very unassuming and, so different from, let's say, the other Karnataka's famous son who's now in London.
No, very true.
Very down to earth?
Absolutely.
Approachable?
Yeah. And look at the company he has built. Yeah. The company is exactly a representation of how he has.
But has he actually taken a step back or is it remote control? We'll never know.
I'm not too sure about how closely he's involved right now, but during the time when I was in Wipro...
because here's the thing, I have this one criticism about Indians, and this is not to do with business, just the way we live, is that our seniors never let go fully. Even the greats, like the legendary ones who are different from the normal sort of, what you expect. That they never let go of the power. Corporate India, political India, wherever, building a panchayat, whatever. Wherever we are, we just don't let go. Is that a fair thing to say?
You would see that all over the world, nothing specific to India. There have been times where founders have come back and reshaped the company because they felt they had an expertise to really do that. There's nothing wrong with it if you can provide something unique to rebuild the company from where you left it, and hence you see an issue.
But it also means that you're assuming or presuming that the company is sick or needs help.
I'm assuming if that is a situation, or you feel that you can actually
in which case
build,
you've not given power to the next generation because you've come back.
That could also be a situation that you feel the company is in a particular position. I can build it even stronger.
So you're looking at it from a positive spin.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I do think there is opportunity of considering it that way.
Mm-hmm. All right. So now the big change, or rather, you didn't know at that time, obviously, that this would be your career path in a sense.
That is true. It all came by surprise.
Okay.
I did not plan my move from Wipro to Intel. People approached me, friends of mine. They said, there's an opportunity. Why don't you apply? And that's how it happened.
Prakash, hang on to your horses right there. And I say horses because he has a Bangalore background. They've got lots of races there. We have to take a break because we go by the clock for some reason here in this part of the world. And then when we come back, the second half of your story, which is Intel.
Absolutely.
Janice, what do you think couples did before TV was invented?
I don't know, go for walks on the beach, long drives, fancy dinners, have more sex maybe?
But what did we do when we decided to move in together? We debated between the Chromecast and the Fire Stick.
We gave up on sleeping early so we could stay up watching true crime shows.
We got ourselves 3 cat babies.
And basically became the cutest couch potatoes around.
Okay then.
In case you guys still haven't got it, we are a TV crazy, Netflix loving, binge watching Mr. and Mrs.
I'm Anirudh Guha.
I'm Janice Iquera.
And if like us you snort TV for breakfast, lunch and dinner, this is the podcast for you.
Tune in every Thursday on the IVM podcast app or wherever it is that you get your podcast from. This is
Mr.
and Mrs.
Binge Watch.
Okay, Prakash Mallya is here with us, worth about 45,000 crores and personal wealth.
I wish that was the case.
Offshore account ka number, please. I should give you. Yeah. Before we get into the Intel experience and, it's all about that. But a little bit on your hobbies. Photography is one. Traveling, obviously.
Photography and travel. Along with that, food. Those are the 3 passions I have.
But today, everybody's a photographer, Prakash. Not to,
That's true.
Everybody's got their little... so irritating, actually, when you're at the airport or when you're walking the streets and people are just taking their... And people are just shooting anything, It's and what I can't stand the selfie culture. I can't stand the guy putting himself in the background and with a T-shirt hanging.
I can tell you that on my drive here, just by the side of the road, there was this barber on the street... shaving another man, and I felt like taking a picture right then and there.
But that's a nice picture. I like that picture because he's on the street and this thing is happening while the cars are passing by. I get that. Yeah. But these tourist kind of moments where people are just taking pictures for no reason. Yeah. I was in Japan. Everybody takes selfies. It's just amazing.
I know.
But they're not intrusive. Nobody comes in your way. They have a lovely way of not coming in anybody's way. Which we Indians, I don't know how to. Your hand is in somebody else's family's main hall of the apartment. Photography. Is your wife also into photography?
No. Yeah, she gets tired by the end of any holiday because I'm running around taking pictures. Leaving her behind.
So you carry all your equipment, old-fashioned, proper photographer with the lights and all that?
I carry flash sometimes if it is a predominantly a night holiday, but most times it's just the camera. I used to be an SLR person, but now I have moved to mirrorless. Earlier this year, I invested in mirrorless. For anybody who is thinking mirrorless is not as good as SLR, they are wrong.
And for
it's really good.
Not for me, I know my photography, but for the lay person, mirrorless is basically everything, adjusting light, everything happens on that one.
It is far more, it does not have bulky elements like SLR, so it's far smaller.
But is it professional equipment as well?
Yeah, absolutely. The quality of pictures are really good.
Because the Kingfisher calendar has to come out this year, and unfortunately, we've had a few stumbling blocks. So, Mr. Mallya, if you could find it in your heart. Yeah. Okay, so that's photography. Traveling, where all have you been?
Yeah. Our ambition is to get to 100 countries.
And how many rounds?
64.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's on holiday, not on work.
So you're not one of those, I have to go just to Western Europe and all, right?
No. We have been to absolutely
and
crazy
backpack
places.
And 1-star hotel and bed and breakfast.
We have done that too. But we have done all kinds of holidays. So
I'm asking you that because that's a real traveler. They don't look at. For me, traveling is comfort. If there's no comfort, I get upset.
Yeah, I would do a little more comfort travel as well.
Indigo flight back from Singapore for 5 hours 15 minutes. My back was straight. It was the most painful. You want to break people down, terrorists, whatever. You put them on those flights. 5 hours 15 minutes. I had a very funny moment, Prakash. I asked the air hostess, "Can I just move the seat back? Where's the button?" And she started laughing. There's no button. There's no button on the chair. That tells you where you are.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
So there's nothing to press or touch. It doesn't move. There's no option. I mean, talk about self-esteem. Sorry, let's get back to your story. Now, traveling. So, now asking you, so are you the kind of traveler who really loves to travel? It's not about, I just want to go there. It's not about, the kind of...
I believe every part of the world has beautiful things to see. Yeah, there's a little bit of comfort needed. We won't do backpacking anymore. But we would like to explore unexplored places. For example, Morocco. If you haven't been there, that's a country that you have to explore. In the same country, which is not that big, you go from seaside, Casablanca, to historic places like Fez and Marrakesh, all the way down to Sahara Desert. And in between, you have got canyons. The terrain is just outstanding. Wow. Similarly, if you like, the only place in the world where elephants can swim is Botswana.
What does that mean?
Okavango Delta.
Elephants can swim? They don't swim elsewhere?
Long distances. That's the only place where elephants have
see
evolved.
The Elephants Olympics, you've got to go to Botswana, is what you're saying. Actually see them compete.
Water Olympics.
Is my elephant bigger than your elephant? These are the kind of questions they ask in Botswana.
No, seriously.
I love the African continent.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you been there?
I've been to Kenya and Tanzania. Slightly different experiences.
Yeah, Kenya I've been.
But I'm animal crazy, so we had a great time.
Same, yeah.
I mean, just see them in the wild, properly to see, Cape Buffalo. I didn't know how aggressive and muscular.
My God, yeah.
Your hair stands on end when you see that guy. And he stared us down from just 20, 30 feet away.
Yeah, that's true.
I tell you, I was so scared. I was like, if he charges that flimsy little Jeep, no chance in hell.
That happened to me, not with Cape Buffalo, but a bull elephant. Because I was capturing the bull elephant.
On foot?
Yeah, no, I was inside the Jeep, but it had come very close. So I kept shooting and asked the driver to wait. And by the time we left, the bull elephant was way too close. So the driver sped off and
But was he aggressive? Was he charging?
It was about to charge. So it gives a signal, which was known not to me, but the driver, saying, you should be leaving right now.
Like what, the pawing of the ground?
Yeah, it's just going back and forth.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah.
So it's a bit like Delhi, where they say, "Janta ho, mera baap kaun hai?" They give you that little warning and then they hit you. Especially if you're a policeman and they're a lawyer.
Yeah, you should love the adventure.
Yeah. What about Antarctica and all? There's so many places.
That's on my bucket list.
Still to do.
Yeah.
So Asia, South America done?
South America not done. Latin America is remaining. So we have done parts of Europe.
Prakash.
Yeah.
Prakash, you're married. Otherwise, I would have sent you first to South America. The most beautiful people in the world.
Yeah.
Really. And I'm saying people because I know where I stand now. Yeah, lovely experience.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And also, clean enough. I've come to this thing that subcontinent, we have a certain lack of hygiene. But in other poverty-stricken places, they're still clean. You can see there's no money, but everything is clean. There's no problem with the cleanliness factor so much.
Yeah.
Can't understand that, man. Anyway, now let's move on from all the hobbies to... So you were with Wipro, and then you get recruited, is it? So somebody comes in...
Yes.
Tell us your story.
Common friends, people reached out. I interviewed and I joined as a business development manager in 2000 in Mumbai. So,
in Mumbai, yeah.
Yes.
So 19 years, exactly.
19 years, yeah. From there, 2005, I left the country, so I went to Singapore.
But were you excited with Intel, this huge brand and all that? I mean,
absolutely. It has invented microprocessors, so it is a very, very cool company to work for.
But did you know when you got in 19 years ago that you'd go this far?
I knew it was a great company. Absolutely did not know I would go this far. The aspiration was... to do something within Intel, and the aspiration also was to become a country manager at some stage. That was my ambition.
But how different was it from what you were already doing in Wipro, in a sense? Development?
It was very different.
Business development.
Wipro was more services oriented. So I was part of the hardware business. So you did hardware selling at that point in time. Then you got into services. So the last job I had was services. it was a very different lens versus a technology company like Intel that makes microprocessors and then engages with the ecosystem to really drive the adoption of technology. Very different lens.
But see, for the outsiders like us, we hear, and I have friends in this kind of business, and they're very stressed sometimes because you've also got a highly competitive sort of market.
Yeah.
And, you're almost like a trendsetter. Yeah. And as you elevate your position in the company and all, the responsibilities must be becoming more and more, and the pressure becomes more and more. Yeah. So what about that side of it?
It's a privilege to do that. You got to really think about, in my position, what I think about is how do I make my team successful? It's never about me, right? You have to really inspire the team to do better than what they themselves thought was possible. That's one. That really determines how clear is your purpose, what you really want to do for India within Intel, as an example. And then at the same time, in your personal time, you got to really unwind. That's why travel comes in. I run a lot.
Are you a switch off guy? And coming from the tech world,
oh no,
do you believe in that? Do you believe in I have to switch off?
I do switch off, and so running. Which I do 4 or 5 times
Long
a
distance.
week. I would do 5K. I have done a couple of half marathons.
So when Prakash Mallya is running in the morning or whatever, he cannot be contacted.
Yeah, I cannot be contacted, and
that's they have to run behind you.
That's my downtime. I generally do in the evening, but if I'm traveling, I do in the morning. Wherever I run.
So you basically give yourself, how would that be, half an hour, 1 hour?
45 minutes.
So you give yourself 45 minutes where you're, what's the word? You're, away from all tech and basically you have your own time,
correct,
as you say.
Correct. Disconnect.
Yeah, and disconnect. Then you... Disconnect, what a word. Took us 15 minutes. Abbas, come on. Back to you, sir.
Huh. And then at the same time, you basically, during the weekends, I do a lot of reading. Even during the days when I'm traveling.
Prakash Mallya, you still read?
Yeah, I need to read. Yeah, to stay ahead. Normally
people just read the website and go on.
Yeah. No, I
do. Old fiction and stuff like that?
I do a lot of different things. In fact, fiction, or it's not really fiction, Man Eaters of Kumail.
Oh, yes, Jim Corbett. I've read it 10 times.
Yeah, I read it recently.
Leopard of Rudraprayag. Yes.
Yeah. So
that more than anybody else.
Yeah, I read that recently because I'd gone to Kabini. So I came back and read that.
But you believe those stories of him being on foot and all that?
It's just amazing.
I mean, you think it's possible?
I have no idea.
A few feet from a man-eater, 500 pounds
and
of
he would
muscle.
shoot with only 2 bullets in the barrel.
Small Cocker Spaniel dog and one torch.
Yeah.
I've been there.
I have no idea.
Nainital, and they've shown us places, and in the night it is so scary. It's so still. You're wondering what kind of courage it would take.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So that was one book, and the recent book that I'm reading right now is by Ben Horowitz called Hard Things About Hard Things. So it is difficult decisions that you need to make in business.
Too much double meaning for me. I'm in my 40s and just too close to home. Yeah, so interesting mix and match. But let's get back to Intel now and tell us. So if you were to sum up what you've done so far, what would be the things you're proud of? Without being immodest, I understand. But looking back, because now you've had a fairly long run here already. In the modern context,
I would say I'm really proud about the impact we as a team have created. So there are 2 assignments which I think are very close to my heart. One is running India as a country manager, which has been an awesome journey. And collectively, the team has come together so well. And we have, for the last 2.5 years, executed really, really well towards our vision, which is to accelerate the transformation of India using Intel technology. And similarly, the last assignment that I had probably 4 years back was running Southeast Asia, which is also a very interesting mix. 600 million or so people, very young, very dynamic place.
Hong Kong, where would you?
I was based in Singapore at that time. Yeah. So running Southeast Asia and running India both had great parallels because we had a fantastic team.
And the cultures are very tech-friendly,
Very tech-friendly, very young population, very dynamic. So I learned a ton. And the friendships you build with the people that you work with really last a lifetime. So I would say, to summarize, the impact that you create with the people that you work with and the learning that you get out of it are the 2 great outcomes for me.
Okay, before we wrap up, Prakash, I want to ask you a slightly awkward question. But I think about this all the time. Do you think we could have what is called too much tech? Do you think we've reached a point where I listen to the next generation and I'm thinking there's no end to it.
Technology is always has its positive because look at technology. In India, technology can leapfrog the nation in places like healthcare, places like agriculture, places like education. If you use technology the right way, it can really alter the country's trajectory. At the same time, it also has downsides. So here is what I worry about. We are so addicted to devices these days that you can't
normal conversation.
Yeah, because every time you get into a flight or any, I used to do a lot of train journeys from all the way from Trichy up to Lucknow, and we would engage and meet new people all the time in trains. But now, even if you get onto the trains, you have your headphones on, you have your device, you are watching your
Very
content.
interesting point you've made. I can almost see it in terms of economics. Because from Tokyo, I was business class on Singapore Airlines and nobody spoke and everybody was on their gadgets.
Yeah.
But in Indigo, we all stood like cattle there and everybody chatted and we had a good time actually.
Yeah.
We all bonded and discussed politics and life, etc.
That's true.
So-
But there is positive side to it as well. Like as a technology, I just came back from Cal. I was telling you, we did a CIO roadshow over there. It was about a technology called Wipro, which is business specific.
We mentioned
platform.
Wipro about 10 times on our shows. So we know.
Yeah. So that is a great instance of technology that can really help organizations to create impact because it can make the employees really productive. Very secure platform so that your identity, like Cyrus, cannot be some other Cyrus.
The other, I know I get your point, but the other day, we live in a house in South Bombay, and I told my daughter, can you just ask my mother to get the dinner out because we're ready to eat or whatever, and they're just 2 rooms away, and she FaceTimed. And I know it's I'm just saying. So I was thinking, what's happening? You know, I mean, there's no control.
Yeah.
And you look at the way the scoochies and the all these the food things. There's something in calling Nuranis and waiting 15 minutes for the guy to pick up the phone and getting the. Maybe I'm too romantic about all these things. But it's just becoming too easy because of tech. It
is too easy, and it is sometimes the device addiction bothers me as the adverse impact of technology.
So what's the thing? You regulate it? What? That's why I asked you. Do you have downtime? Do you disconnect?
So when I come back home, I try and keep my phone away unless I'm expecting somebody's call.
But you're in too big a position. How can you keep your phone away? I mean, there's something or the other will be calling you.
You are never as important as you think you are.
Mr. Premji may be calling you back. You never know. You have to take the phone.
You have to, at least people who I work with and people who know me well know that I don't take myself too seriously. So I never consider myself very important that I need to be connected all the time. You should be entitled to downtime with your family or without your family, with yourself.
Yeah.
So you should really take time for it every single day, because if you're connected all the time, I don't think you're connecting with people.
All right. Before we wrap up, one more on business, well, cyber security, I suppose. The world is getting more tech-based. There's no way to stop that. So how do you guard? How does a business guard itself and its privacy and its secrets or whatever to keep it secure?
I would agree with you. The privacy and security elements in a connected world are very, very important now. Much more important than
and
ever
our
before.
data's out there all the time.
Yeah.
I'm so worried about that.
Yeah.
You're the expert. You tell us.
The first thing you should do, anybody should do, is to really get the basics right, which means have strong passwords on your devices so that nobody can easily break through. You do not expose data that you wish you didn't expose, because if you're it could be private stuff, or it could be if you're moving around. People give social media updates as to where they are, right? Real time.
Unnecessary, yeah.
Do you really need them? So you have to really make those choices and do that correctly based on what your comfort feel is. Because the more you expose yourself, the more risk you are putting yourself in. And at the same time, there are technologies like, I'll give you a great example. We were talking about Wipro. One of the elements of Wipro is security. We have something called hardware shield, and that hardware shield. Yeah. So shield actually helps you protect, or helps to protect the viruses that can really impact your machine and really cut through the security parts of your organization and actually get your data. So those kind of technologies, if you invest in, you can really be protected.
But are we getting paranoid on the other hand? Say things like Aadhaar card. People are saying the government has my data. Now they can source, or they can get my credit card numbers and this and that so easily. There's one shop stop thing idea of everything being on one card or one digital print. Is it paranoia or is it an actual fear?
Yeah, from what I understand and read about Aadhaar, it's a very secure. The Aadhaar database is actually a verification database. So I don't see the risk there. But at the same time, your exposure of your personal information across multiple social channels or digital channels in places where you don't need to. Like, I'll give you a great example. There are friends of mine who mention, this is my mobile number, to somebody else on Facebook, right?
Oh.
Everybody can see it. So do you need to do that?
Yeah, that's a little stupid.
Yeah,
Even coming from me. I mean, really.
But people generally, if you are not aware about the risks, you would do that. So the first step is to become aware of it and then take adequate precautions based on what you feel is
Or do what I do, give the wrong number. Just give I give Kunal's number everywhere I go.
Yeah.
He gets calls all the time. Who are you?
Trust
Sir,
you
we
to
met
do
you at
that.
the airport. Aapne baat kiya. I want to be VJ. Can I come and meet you? He's like, no! It's lovely. That's my cybersecurity. It's a different style, but this is the Indian mind.
It's an old school style.
There you go. Got to find your way. So here's a question you must be asked all the time. What is the future of Intel?
We have a fantastic opportunity. So the way I look at it is globally as well as in India, the need for computing and need for technology is going to absolutely increase because technology can really help countries or companies leapfrog versus competition or versus themselves.
Just evolution.
Evolution,
Yeah.
right? So we talked about how there are high friction segments which are very difficult to break through, like education or healthcare or learning in general, right? Those are the areas.
Learning, Prakash, just quickly, it has to change, doesn't it? It has to
Absolutely.
update itself. For example, I'm just thinking they don't need to spell. I mean, morally right or wrong is a different issue, but I'm saying they don't need to. They just press a button and you correct it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's pointless.
That's true.
They're not going to. They're all going to just use the com. They're not going to actually spell chrysanthemum. They'll just, the check will do it.
Yeah. At the same time, technology can help you learn faster or learn better. The technology part, that is the opportunity. And that's where I see Intel playing a huge role. And we have, in India, this is our 21st year of operation. As a company, we are 51 years. So our ambition is to really use the computing technology towards improving the life of everybody on earth. And no different in India. Our commitment to India is very strong. So that's the opportunity. But at the same time, going back to the risks and challenges that you face, one of the risks I feel is the wrong usage of technology. We talked about privacy and security elements. The other element is more and more if machine learning or artificial intelligence oriented technologies are coming into every segment, what is the implication to that on humanity? That's the ethics of it and
So
how
in a
it's going
sense,
to
do we
unfold.
lose jobs? I mean, that's the base of the whole
That's a
thing.
conversation that society needs to have. All of us need to have. Frankly, when you're talking about artificial intelligence, there is a lot of bias that a machine can get into as well because it's purely dependent on how you train the system. The parameters used to training the system to make a
So
decision.
you can have prejudices in a machine.
Absolutely.
You can have right-wing and left-wing elements in a machine.
That is why I talked
What are
about...
you guys doing, you tech guys? I thought your world was different.
You talked about in a specific way the decision can go. I would argue that in AI, if you train it in a certain way, you can actually exclude people. So you can have to create more inclusion in society. You really need to think about how technology will be used. And technologies like AI are very powerful, but they need to be used wisely. So
Just for the record, AI is also short for something else, Air India. And they're also struggling with jobs as we speak. Okay, Prakash, I think now we have reached the end of the show. I know you're a very busy man, but we have the AMAs coming up. Will you stay for that? Just 5
what is
minutes.
that? Yeah,
Just
sure.
ask me anything. People rant and rave.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
always fun.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to another amazing week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, you know what? I'm tired of asking you to follow us. This time I expect you to follow us. Please make sure you follow us. If you're not following us, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Seriously, I'm sure many of you would like that, but that's the only threat I have. We'd also like to thank our sponsors of the network this week. Thank you, Storytel. Thank you, Intel. We're really grateful for your support. On Advertising is Dead, Varun is joined by none other than Ranveer Alabadia, better known as Beer Biceps in the digital space, also the host of our short-lived podcast, Hustle Science. On Paisa Vaisa, Anupam is joined by Ashutosh Shrotriya, business head at Religare Insurance Company. They talk about health insurance and how to choose a good insurance plan. On the Empowering series, Zarina is joined by Ambar Qureshi, founder of the Plum Tree and former plus-size model. They talk about body positivity, self-belief, and the idea behind starting her own clothing venture. On Paperback, Rachita and Satyajit talk to Gyan Nagpal, the author of The Future Ready Organization. They discuss the new strategies that can make every element of an organization productive, and how we can break the hierarchical structures within. On Heel and Hearty, Rachna is joined by two working professionals, Navaneel Kar and Manvi Pathak, who talk about how to maintain a work-life balance and a healthy lifestyle. On our Kannada podcast, Thalle Harate, Rohit Shenoy sits down with Ganesh Chakravarti and Pawan Srinath to talk about primary education in India and Karnataka. This week on Edges and Sledges, Ashwin, Varun and DJ talk about the India versus Bangladesh first day night test at Eden Gardens. On Golgappa with Trupti Khamkar, Trupti is joined by Indrajit More, content creator at Bhadipa and Bhatupa, who gives tricks and tips to travel on a shoestring budget. On the Filter Coffee podcast, Karthik is joined by angel investor, business and strategist Lloyd Matthias. Lloyd talks about the technological entrepreneurship space in India, things to look for potential investments, and how brands should be transparent with their communications in order to create a strong identity. On Mr. and Mrs. Binge Watch, Janice and Anirudh talk about the highly rated show this year, Succession. On 9XM Soundcast, Eva is in conversation with Bollywood singer Palak Muchal. She has lent her voice to movies like MS Dhoni, Ashiki 2 and Prem Ratan Dhan Payo. And with that, let's get you on with your show.
If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
All right, back here with Prakash Mallya. We are joined by Amit Doshi,
Yes.
also looking for a job in Intel. But
That would help.
you'll have to wait till Monday. He was getting that. More
That
people
must
know.
be a problem, right?
If they know who you are.
We are always open for talented, strong-willed, great people who
Right.
can come and make the company better. Absolutely.
I'm sure that is the case, but I'm sure that there's also a lot of, Prakash, my son is looking for a job.
Yeah. What about your seventh cousin from the right who's not seen you for 30 years? And says your nephew needs to be given a job.
Yeah.
A wonderful country.
All right. First question we have is from Anand Oberoi. Hi, Cyrus. Since climate change has been in the news a lot lately, and as someone who cannot live without air conditioning, do you feel guilty for contribution to the CFC emissions?
See, I only say one thing, and Prakash, please correct me if I'm wrong. I think this extreme views are the problem that we have. I think you have to have some amount of air conditioning because of the way things are. I can't just change completely. Maybe in an ideal world it would happen, but we live in a tropical world and it's really hot.
It is hot.
I don't know. It's a tough one, but there has to be some compromise. What do you say?
Yeah. For the amount of fun you emanate, you are given that kind of luxury.
So Prakash, you're giving me a pass, but not generally for air conditioning.
Yeah, giving you a pass.
All right.
Yeah.
How sad. all air conditioning lovers here, by the way.
You have different rules. Cyrus has different rules.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I agree, though. I think that we need some sort of air conditioning, right? Without it, it's really tough. But I mean, again, bringing the state
It's
of
tough to
technology
change back
forward.
now.
Yeah. No, but you hope that, people bring the state of technology forward so that we are using air conditioning, which uses less and less and less of either electricity, which I think we're seeing, right? I mean, I remember 2 years ago, I changed my air conditioner, which was like a really old one. My electric bill went from something like 14,000 rupees a month to 4,000 rupees a month.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had no idea that I was using
And
that
for
much.
the environment, the Prime Minister said keep it at 24.
Okay.
I don't know if
Yeah.
this is the correct number.
Right.
Don't tell him I'm doing 23. Okay. I'm just going berserk, man. It's damn hot.
But
Right.
even in our homes, if you create some level of rigor on switching off the lights when you're not there, all of that, or switching off fans, it can save.
Or technology which switches off itself.
Smart homes will be even better. But even if you can't have it, a lot of times in my place, you need to switch off.
Right.
My friend
When you're
Kunal
not there.
Vijayakar goes the other way. He calls up a person who works in the house and says, put it on, I'll be expected in 40 minutes. I don't know how people think India is a Garib Desh. This Garib Desh and the way Indians live, it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
All right. This next question is from Sauvik Shinde. Hey, Cyrus and IVM team. I'm addicted to your podcast. Your show was my introduction to the medium of podcasts.
Okay.
And I have been trying to get my friends to listen, but they don't seem interesting as long as it's not on video or YouTube. I have a business idea for you. Why not tie up with the Western Railway and have your podcast clips play in between railway announcements on the station? This way, the bulk of Mumbaikars will at least know that you do a podcast.
So every time someone falls off a platform, they'll blame us. What did that idiot say? What happened to my bunty?
Yeah. No,
I don't know. In the West, do they have this?
Well,
I'm trying to remember in subways.
Not
they
publicly.
Plays
No. So
radio.
they have Muzak, right? They have Muzak, which is
Muzak.
non-distracting, kind of you somewhat familiar, but not something that you're going to
Elevator, subway version.
Yeah, exactly. So they have that kind of stuff. They do a lot of
It's too
announcements.
customized. No?
And it's
To listen
personal,
to.
right? I mean,
How
at
do
the end of it,
we have these fights in gyms all the time. I want this music, I want that music.
Yeah, that's
when
true.
you start podcast and all, somebody, I don't want, I want that guy.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really tough problem to solve too, right? I mean, like, how do you have stuff which is common
That's
across
true.
a lot of different space that people will be okay with? And also, I feel like, these kinds of things, right? They're most fun when you're hearing them by yourself, right? And I think that's the enjoyment of a lot of these mediums as well.
That's true.
The intimacy.
Yeah. All right. Last question is from Manas from Delhi. Love your wit and sense of humor. My question is, what was the rock bottom phase of your life and how you get away with it?
This one. Yeah. I think the most difficult part about being in our line, honestly, is finding the location. More than success, failure, and how much money you make. I have never gotten over that. Now with the GPS, it's a little better. But because if you're not Shah Rukh Khan, you'll end up shooting in the strangest, smallest, dirtiest, unheard of streets somewhere in Malad and Mud Island. And if I had to look back at my life, if I could just rectify that, I've had so much anxiety trying to find this place or to find that place. And I'm talking about the late 90s, early 2000s. It's a little easier now with the GPS. You sort of set it, and hopefully in India it doesn't always. But you're there somewhere.
I can't imagine life without GPS.
Can you? But when you go abroad, I'm sure you do that because you travel a lot. It's so easy to drive.
I agree.
I mean, in Switzerland, of course, there's nobody there, but we didn't take a step wrong. We didn't take a step wrong for about 10 days of driving.
Yeah. No, I think also over here roads are complicated more so than they are in some other places.
We change the names and
names also. We have a lot of one ways and stuff like that. So I found.
So when they tell you you're 2 minutes away from arrival and you're actually 5 minutes away because you go around.
When I went to the US a couple of months ago, right, I found Boston to be particularly perplexing to the GPS as compared to either DC or New York.
Wow.
So I mean, like they would take me in like slightly weird directions when I was in Boston, because Boston roads are like Bombay. They're just like really kind of like they're curvy and they're all
is
over
it the
the place.
one-way, two-way thing?
One way, two-way, lots of different kind of different routes to get to different places.
Yeah.
It's just.
But
really,
India, we have another challenge. We have 5 roads which have the same name across India: MG Road, Nehru Road.
But that's
so GPS
right,
I don't know what to do. It just keeps going north, south, east,
Actually,
west.
the most difficult place, I've driven in California as well as Austin, US. The most difficult place I found with GPS was KL. Because KL, when you exit highways,
right.
In US, you can actually come back if you take the wrong exit.
Right.
The rectification in KL is impossible.
I did that. So a friend of mine just moved there recently, and so I went with him, and we were going to city somewhere like an hour away outside, and we took the wrong exit by mistake, and so we had to come back onto the highway. It took us 20 minutes to get back on the highway.
Yeah.
Because we just had to keep going somewhere, find a U-turn, then come back, and then you couldn't do
in
it.
KL, why couldn't you come back? It doesn't reprogram?
No, as in the roads are not built that way. That
so you
the
can't
exit.
turn.
Yeah, you can't really come back onto the same.
It's like welcome to Indonesia. You've already passed Malaysia.
In our 2.5 years of living in Malaysia, in KL, place the direction or the route to go to a place and come back was literally never the same.
Wow.
Yeah, it feels familiar. Yes, I just went there.
Leave all that, Prakash. Have you tried Lower Parel? I mean, do you have the guts, Mr. Big Shot Intel? Go into Lower Parel and come out alive. Tell me you'll go running to KL with your bag and you'll stay there happily.
You have to come to Bangalore for that.
We nearly missed the flight. Bangalore scared the crap out of me, man. What's happened to Bangalore traffic, yeah?
I know.
I mean, you're looking at 2 hours from the airport, once the morning passes.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's just,
Yeah, it is bad right now.
It's all bad, man.
Where's the king of good times when we need him, yeah? India was so happy under him. Okay, Prakash, cheers.
Thank you.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me. Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps. Please, we beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
And that's what Cyrus says.
Are you constantly seeking happiness? Wondering how to make the most of every day? How not to let your inhibitions stop you from achieving your goals? It's now time to get your A-game on. It's time to unlock your true potential. Tune in to the Empowering series with me, Zarina Poonawalla, to feel empowered in all genres of life. From behavioral skills to management skills. From health to relationships. From mental well-being to emotional well-being. And of course, your finances. I've got you covered. with these tips and tricks from me, Zarina,
All right,
and
Cyrus
true life
says I'm looking
stories
for a
from my
job. I'm going to
amazing
change my
guests,
career path.
you're bound to
I think it's
bring
time for me to
your
join
purist
Intel.
to the table.
Prakash Mallya.
Tune in to
Head
the
honcho.
empowering series
He and me
with
will chat this
Zarina
out.
Poonawalla every Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Okay, cock and bull, and we meet Vivek Kaul after a long time. He's not been arrested by the government, but he should be, and you'll know why.
माणसं ना गोलगप्प्यासारखी असतात. हाय हॅलो करताना वेगळी आणि बोलताना वेगळी आणि गप्पा मारताना वेगळी.
Left arm not
मित्र
so
झाली
orthodox
की
with
वेगळी
Vivek
आणि
Kaul.
शत्रू म्हणून वेगळी. थोडक्यात दिसणारी वेगळी आणि असणारी वेगळी. कधी आंबट, कधी गोड, कधी तिखट, तर कधी चमचमीत आणि कधी कधी हॉट अँड स्पायसी सुद्धा. आणि म्हणूनच गप्पा सॉरी गोल गप्पा विथ तृप्ती खामकर फक्त तुमच्यासाठी दर बुधवारी IVM पॉडकास्टच्या ऍपवर, वेबसाईटवर किंवा युट्यूब चॅनलवर सुद्धा ऐकू शकता. तुम्ही आमचा पॉडकास्ट वेगवेगळ्या पॉडकास्ट प्लॅटफॉर्मवरती ऐकू शकता. फक्त सर्च करा गोल गप्पा विथ तृप्ती खामकर आणि आमचा पॉडकास्ट ऐकत राहा.